To be honest with you, I would first ask, what is your availability? What I've noticed, yeah, I stay connected with the camp industry across the country, and all camps that are associated, at least with the American Camp Association, are seeing really high numbers enrollment. So that's telling me personally. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but personally, that's telling me two things. Maybe that one, parents are more ready than even last summer to send their kids to camp, and number two, that I believe some summer camps out there unfortunately had to close because of financial issues or other reasons during the pandemic. So the number of camps, I feel, this is a guess, there are less camps to choose from. So there's a high demand and a low supply. And I shouldn't say low supply, I just feel like there's less supply than there was before. So I think everyone's seeing high enrollment. It's so the big question is, what do you have available? Do you still have openings? If so, please tell me, what are those openings? Or you can just go into their portal. A lot of camps just have an online portal, and you can see what's still available. So it's good to get in there, create an account with their portal, and see what they have. Other questions, once you know that they have availability, know that you probably want to register as soon as you can. And I would double check their cancellation policy and refund policy and make sure it aligns with what you're hoping for, because you don't want to hurry up and register and then get into that feeling that you have to have this difficult conversation with the camp if you need to cancel, because a camp does need revenue in order to provide those great services for kids. And so, people canceling and not wanting to follow the cancellation policy really hurts the organization. And there's plenty of camps that are nonprofits, and so they really heavily rely on that revenue to support the wages of their staff and the supplies and the programming and even the accreditation from the ACA costs money. So just something to think about. But even more in depth would just be, tell me about your safety protocols. Tell me how, and some of the things that parents forget to ask is, what outcomes should I expect from your program? You can't expect a miracle, and I'm a big believer that summer camp is important in a longer span. There's a lot of options out there. You can go week to week, or you can go to a camp for a long period of time. We offer both at Cranbrook, but I do recommend the longer session as possible, because if you think about it, you're developing longer relationships with other children, and you're developing relationships with those adults, those role models that they've put in place there. So developing those relationships are important. If you're jumping from camp to camp, you don't develop those relationships as well. However, if a family's looking for a lot of different activities to keep their child occupied, that's an option too. It just depends on what the goals of the family are, of course. But to ask, if it's a specialty camp like art or music or theater or sports or whatever, what outcomes should I expect from the program? If it's a longer traditional camp, you could ask, is my child going to be engaged in, what kind of activities and what enhancements am I going to see out of my child by going to the camp? And then just the basic questions of what do you offer, and some of the things that are important to parents. Let's be selfish for a moment for parents, right? Do you offer transportation? Do you offer lunch? Do you offer snacks? Are there some other benefits like before and after, extended care for your child in case I have to work, from 8 to 5, I may not be able to get to the camp during those camp hours. And there's some, what options for parents are there? Definitely would be a good question. So there's a lot of good questions. Just, I guess my overall advice after that would be just go with your gut. Don't try not to overwhelm the camp directors, of being one. But try to think of what really truly matters, and not necessarily what maybe a knee-jerk reaction kind of question is, but really truly what are your goals for your child, and remember that this is, you're paying for development for your child. So it's a service that you really want to think think about.